You're sitting across from someone. The conversation stops. 4 seconds pass, maybe 5. Nothing dramatic happens. No one says anything wrong, but your chest tightens. Your mind starts racing, searching for something, anything to say. You'd rather talk about the weather, your commute, literally anything, than let that silence continue for one more second. Why does something so harmless feel so unbearable? You're not in danger. No one is threatening you, and yet your body reacts as if something has gone wrong. The truth is, something has gone wrong, at least according to a part of your brain that's far older than conversation itself. Here's where the science starts. Social psychologist Namke Kudenberg at the University of Groningen ran a series of experiments specifically designed to measure how people react to pauses in conversation. She and her team had participants sit through scripted conversations that included brief silences, some just 4 seconds long. 4 seconds. That's barely enough time to take a breath and glance around the room. But her research found that even a pause this short was enough to make people feel disconnected from the group and to lower how much they felt they belonged. 4 seconds doesn't sound like much until you actually sit through it in a live conversation. Try counting it out slowly in your head right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice how long that actually feels when nothing is happening and someone is watching you. Kudenberg's research suggests that your brain doesn't measure silence in seconds. It measures it in signals, and a pause that short is already being read as a signal that something is wrong. But why would something so brief carry so much weight? To understand that, you have to go back further than conversation, further than language, to a time when being disconnected from your group wasn't just uncomfortable, it was dangerous. Psychologist Kipling Williams at Purdue University spent decades studying what happens to people when they're excluded or ignored, a phenomenon he calls ostracism. His research found something remarkable. Even brief, meaningless exclusion, being ignored during a simple ball-tossing game with strangers, triggered real, measurable distress in participants, not mild annoyance, genuine emotional pain. That word, pain, isn't just a figure of speech here. Neuroscientist Naomi Eisenberger at UCLA used brain imaging to study what happens when people experience social rejection. Her research found that social exclusion activates the same region of the brain, the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex, that lights up when you experience actual physical pain. Being cut off from others doesn't just feel bad. To your brain, it registers using the same alarm system as a physical injury. Now think about what a silence in conversation actually represents to that ancient alarm system. For most of human history, your ancestors lived in small, tightly connected groups. Being accepted by that group wasn't a nice bonus. It was the difference between survival and death. A person cast out from the group lost access to food, protection, and safety. There was no going it alone in the wilderness for long. In that world, silence carried real information. If someone stopped responding to you, stopped engaging, stopped acknowledging you were there, it could mean you'd done something wrong. It could mean you were being quietly pushed out. Your ancestors, who were highly sensitive to these signals, who reacted quickly and repaired the connection, were more likely to stay inside the group and more likely to survive. The ones who ignored the signal risked being left behind entirely. That sensitivity didn't disappear just because modern conversations don't carry the same life or death stakes. Your brain doesn't know the difference between an awkward pause at a dinner party and an ancient warning sign of exclusion. It runs the same program either way, because for nearly all of human history, that program worked. It kept people connected. It kept them alive. This explains why silence in conversation feels so different from silence when you're alone. Sitting quietly by yourself, reading a book or watching the rain doesn't create this same tension. There's no ambiguous social signal to interpret. But the moment another person is present and the talking stops, your brain treats that gap as information that needs to be resolved immediately. Something has to fill it. A question, a comment, even just a nervous laugh. This is also why people often say things they don't mean during uncomfortable pauses, oversharing a personal detail, agreeing to plans they didn't actually want to make, filling the space with whatever comes to mind first, just to make the discomfort stop. The urge to end the silence can be stronger than the urge to say something well considered, because your ancient alarm system isn't asking you to be articulate. It's asking you to prove, quickly, that the connection is still intact. Understanding this changes how you might experience silence going forward. That tightness in your chest during a pause isn't a sign that something is actually wrong between you and the other person. Most of the time, it's an old reflex firing in a modern setting where it doesn't need to. The 4 seconds that feel unbearable are just your nervous system running a survival check that hasn't updated since a time when the wrong pause really could mean losing your place in the group. Some cultures have even built entire communication styles around comfort with silence, treating pauses as thoughtful rather than threatening. That alone suggests this reaction, while deeply wired, isn't fixed. It can be softened with awareness and practice, but the pull remains ancient. The next time a conversation stalls and your instinct is to blurt out anything to fill the space, you'll know exactly what's happening. Somewhere beneath your polite smile and searching mind, a very old part of you is quietly checking to see if you still belong. That's the real reason silence feels so uncomfortable. It was never really about the quiet at all. It was about what the quiet used to mean, back when being forgotten by the group wasn't just awkward, it was the most dangerous thing that could happen to you.